Welcome back to another quick review. Today we are talking about the latest Sonic the Hedgehog movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and oh my god, this is the best one. This is the best one. This movie was so good. I think one of my favorite parts about this movie, and one of the highlights of this movie, of course, is Shadow. But specifically, what I'm talking about is the compare and contrast with Sonic and Shadow. And of course, goes back to the games and points out something that the games have been doing for such a long time. But it's so brilliantly done in this movie, where it's like, you know, Sonic, Sonic and Shadow have like come from like relatively similar backgrounds, but each one of them learned something different and like learned like one thing or a couple of things different along the way. And so those backgrounds kind of went into different divergent paths that I adore. And then at some point, Sonic helps Shadow learn the error of his ways, as well as Sonic experiences or sort of experiences what Shadow has to go through at some point, um, or what Shadow had to go through, and it kind of changes him a bit and makes him a worse individual because of it. And I absolutely adore that juxtaposition. It's so good. It's so interesting. It's so heartbreaking at points. Another thing that I love about this movie, Shadow is just so cool. Shadow is just the coolest individual. It's so funny because it's like the first 30 minutes of the movie is not a knock on the movie. It's actually a really good thing. Just about every shot, almost like I mean maybe 95% of the shots in the trailers are from the first 30 minutes of this movie, from the first 30 minutes specifically. It's so cool. It's so good. Its Shadow as a character is so cool. In this, like just the amount of stuff that he does, the certain shots that he gets, because those are the best shots in the movie. Those are the best shots in the movie. There's just like cinematography and visually, it's the best points in the movie. Another thing that I adore, honestly, the both the Robotniks, Joe Robotnik, Doctor Robotnik, whatnot, both great. Both really fun in this movie. Got some good jokes, got a good dynamic together, even though they're both played by Jim Carrey, and there's a very funny fourth wall break. Um, and I think the human characters, because it's not the other human characters, they're not too in this movie too much, but even so, what they're given, I think, is also really cool. What they're given is really nice, and is a. I'm glad they're doing it so that they, rather than rather than giving them their own like separate plot line, they're used to push Sonic and the other characters forward, which I think is what they should be doing. What they should have been doing, and I think that's phenomenal. I think that is great. Knuckles and Tails in this movie are great. Just another way to bring Sonic back down to earth. Even though, they don't have too big, like, as big a role in this movie as they did in Sonic 2 or even the Knuckles show, especially comparatively towards like the last 30 to 45 minutes of the movie. They don't have that much of a role, but still great. Speaking of which, last 45 minutes of the movie is like the best Dragon Ball movie, live action movie you will ever see. Dragon Ball Legends, or Dragon Ball Evolution rather, does not exist. It never existed, especially when this movie exists, and it's just like an entire Dragon Ball fight scene, and it, or at least a decent amount of it, some of it is entire Dragon Ball fight scene, and it's so cool. It genuinely is the coolest thing, as well as the ending of this movie and the music, and you know Shadow and Eggman and what they do towards the end of the movie, and it is just marvelous. I say this is probably my favorite video game movie. I have to specify movie and not adaptation, because I think a lot of these video game TV shows are better than this one, such as Fallout and Cyberpunk Edge Runners and The Last of Us, and I assume Arcane. The problem is I haven't seen season two, and I didn't really like season one all that much, but maybe not. I'm not sure. But like I still think those are like really, but those are better video game adaptations. But still think Sonic Three is probably the best video game movie we've seen so far. It's just really fun, and as a Sonic fan, I really enjoyed it. Last thing I want to speak on, just a quick little bit. I just want to speak on the post credit scene for a little bit. I'm going to try not to spoil stuff. However, I would still advise click off now, because I don't know, maybe I'll let something slip. Um, Long story short, I think post credit scene looked really cool. It was really exciting. Um, I think if I was very excited to see Shadow in the Sonic 2 post credit scene. Of course, Tails in the Sonic 1 post credit scene, but Shadow in the Sonic 2 post credit scene was really cool. It was like really, oh my god, we're getting Shadow, we're getting Shadow, oh my god. But this post credit scene, just the implications and the characters involved are, it's so cool. And it's not, just like, a one off scene with Tails just kind of saying something to flying off, or Shadow, just waking up. You see Shadow, you just see him wake up and the movie ends. It's like an actual full scene with both of these characters and the implications that we have for Sonic 4, which I think they are pressing to get out in 2027. Um, it's just really cool. I really encourage you to stick around for the post credit scenes because they are absolutely amazing. And I was kind of losing it. Was it the character that I wanted? Of course, that character wasn't going to show up. That's not up to like a Sonic 5 thing. However, still extremely cool regardless, and I can't wait to see where this goes in the future. All right, and that's it for the Sonic 3 quick review. I gave this movie a 9 out of 10. I think it was phenomenal. I think my one issue, my like one big issue is just kind of the pacing of the movie. But even then, I think it still works for Sonic. I love it. I think this movie is great, and I think everybody needs to see it. I plan on seeing it a second time. Yeah. Thank you for watching. See ya.